Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do something a little easy, but also something that I find necessary on any of my pickup trucks, and that is going to be a tonneau cover. Now before we get into that, if you could please go ahead and subscribe, hit that notification and like button, and then share this out to everyone that likes any kind of car content. It just helps us out and grow this channel so we can keep bringing you stuff like this. So today we tonneau cover. This is a roll-up style. This is from a company called BAK. I have used them before, so I've used them on my F250. I've gone through two of their covers, but I'm pretty hard on these things, and so I do tend to break it, so it's my fault. So today we're going to do a roll-up style, which I honestly have never done. I thought it'd be kind of cool to put one on the F150, since I'm not going to be using this as much as my F250 to load stuff up. I'd rather just kind of cover it, kind of make it look cool, have it easy to get in and out, any kind of stuff that I might put back there. So let's go ahead and get this installed onto the truck. We'll just go over the instruction sheet as it says on here. These aren't too difficult to install. I'm not sure, I can't remember if you might need some sockets. I'll look in here. Simple to install one of these. Plus you're able to enclose that bed and lock it up, so that way if you have valuables that you want to store in there, if you're out somewhere, you can cover that up. It's out of sight, out of mind. People won't break into your truck and steal stuff. You can leave it in the bed and no one's even gonna know. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so we're gonna go and get started on step number one. So this is the bed cover that I ordered. I think it's the 4S, so Revolver 4S. It is a hardcover, and as you can see here, you got your rails, you got the actual tonneau cover that rolls over all your weather stripping. So first thing we're gonna do is that we are going to install the bulkhead weather stripping. This is going to go on the front towards the cab. So first thing though that we're going to want to do is clean that with alcohol to make sure that the adhesive will stick to the bed cap. So let's go ahead and get that cleaned up first. Now, if you got a liner like I do, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for that stuff to stick. Just get it best you can. So I'm just going to get this cleaned up as best as I can to get it to stick, and hopefully we get a decent seal. I think on my other bed, I think this is painted on my F250, so. And then any residual paper that's left will just brush off. Not that big of a deal. All right, let's let that sit up for a minute, get that paper towel, blow that stuff off and get it clean, and then we'll stick the weather stripping on there. Okay, now that we have the bed cap cleaned off, we can go ahead and get that weather stripping installed. Now, in these instructions, it does say that if you have a bed cover or a drop-in bed liner, to use Yeah, to use the 1/4" seal, and if it does not have one, to use the 3/4" seal. Mine's a spray-in bed liner, but honestly, it can't hurt to have that extra thickness to make sure that that's all closed up. So I'm going to use the 3/4" instead of 1/4" weather stripping to get that installed. Okay, once you install this too, you're going to want it at the front edge of the bed cap, so it's going to be towards the bed, not towards the cab. So you're going to want it on this edge right here. All right, and then once you get the backing paper off finally, you go ahead and start getting this pressed up on there. So just go along and firmly press the weather stripping to make sure it sticks, and pull that back the paper at one time, and then you just go along and push and stick. Now, I'm not pulling on the weather stripping as I'm doing it. I'm just letting it lay flat, because you don't want to pull it tight. You want it just to press firmly down. So don't pull on the weather stripping at the same time. Just pull the backing paper off and then press down on it so it sticks. All right, and then once you get to the end, you'll just cut off the excess right there, which is where razor blade comes in handy. So I'm just going to cut this straight down. And that way we don't have any gap there. So now that that's firmly in place, let's go ahead and move to step 2. All right, now that we've got that weather stripping installed on the front bulkhead of the bed, we're going to go ahead and get the passenger side cover rail installed. That is marked on here as A, but they're marked on each individual one right and left. So passenger side is gonna be right, so it has an R on there, so you know. So we are going to need this rail, and then we are also going to need one of these bed cover clamps for the rails. So we'll get this and this piece, and then you're going to need a 9/16 socket of some sort to bolt that down. So you're gonna get this. So if you can tell, so this foam parts and this weather stripping is on the bottom. So this is what goes up against the actual bed, if you can see here. So this goes here, so that makes that nice and flush. And then that weather stripping is what is supposed to hit here. Now I've got a bed cap on here, so it's gonna be a little off versus a normal bed, but that's okay. And then you're going to get, let's see if this will stay for a minute. So next you're gonna get your clamp, and the first one needs to be no less than 12 inches from the front. So if you can see, I don't know if you can see the grooves of the teeth. That's also on the bed rail as well. So that's what clamps that into place. Let me get this back on my head. Let's see if I can do this. right, now you want to get that all the way up there at the top. This is kind of hard the way I'm recording, but this needs to get shoved up as far as it can go. That touches the top and then get bolted down. All right, looks like it's going to be a wrench. I can't get that in there with that to get that properly torqued down. So let me go get a wrench. All right, so once you get that bolted up in there, as you can maybe see, let's see, there we go. That grabs the rail with those teeth, and that's what keeps it nice and stable. So just hand tighten those. Don't need to like seriously crank on them, but get them nice and tight, and that way that it'll stay, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so this was, I just saw this in the instruction manual. Torque specs on these is 10 foot-pounds, so I'll go ahead and do that to show you that it's been done. But this piece of the rail, I can't really get a socket on, so I'm gonna use a crow's foot on a torque wrench. So I'm just gonna make sure that this is all flat. And then I'm also going to get the correct crow's foot because I grabbed the wrong one. Just give me a second. Now, hopefully I just grabbed the right one. All right. So I can get this, make sure everything is nice and put it up against each other. I feel like that rail's not. Okay, there we go. I can get one in there. I think I just might have had that at a weird angle. All right. So it looks like you can't use a socket, which I'll get in a second. All right. So that's been torqued down. And we're gonna have our second one, which they said to go to about halfway. Let's do it over the wheel well. That looks like about halfway.
Sure that's all the way up. Okay, so you can use a socket in there. You do have enough room. I'm just stupid and had it at a weird angle. Now that it's actually flat, you can actually access the nuts with a socket, which is what I will do from now on. So let's get on to the next step, which I think is just putting on the other side. Okay, so I was wrong. So for the next step, we're actually putting on another clamp. So we'll put this on, and then we will go ahead and install the driver's side. Okay, once you get done with the rear clamp, we can go ahead and move on to the next section. But I do want to make you aware of, if you go to the very, very edge end, there's all this overlapping metalwork, which was actually preventing me from bolting that down. It kept slipping, so I moved it a little bit over. So I don't know if you can see, but that's maybe 3 inches from the actual end where the tailgate is, so that'll be fine. This isn't going to go anywhere. So let's go ahead and get the driver's side put on. Okay, so I got both the bed rails installed, and I went to go and check them and put the tailgate up, and as you can see, the rail is up at an angle a little bit. So I'm going to need to go in, loosen up all those clamps, get this to drop down so it's flush with the tailgate, and then re-tighten them up. So it's one thing that you do need to check before you proceed to the next step. As you can see, it's on both of them. So we're just going to slightly loosen them, get them to lay down flat, and then re-torque them, and then proceed. So we're going to do that real quick. Okay, I messed with the bed rails. I got them a little better. That one's sitting a little flusher than that one. That's the best I could get it. So now we're gonna go ahead and put the tonneau cover on, and I'm hoping maybe the weight will just sink that down and actually make that flush. But let's get the tonneau cover. We're gonna place it on there and then roll it out, and then it's gonna be bolted to the front towards the cab. So, all right, so we're going to cut the streak wrap off, get this down here so it connects, and we're going to rolled this down to their end. It is heavy, so if you need another person, I would recommend it. It is not light. Also, do not cut this shrink wrap off until you have it placed up here, because it will try to unravel and make it more of a pain in the ass. So we'll just unroll this, check everything, make sure everything's cleared, and all this rubber will lay flat once it gets all heated up. If it's cold like it is here in North Texas right now, I think it's something stupid like 19 degrees outside, which is the dumbest thing ever. You can use a heat gun and get that straightened out. All right, so we'll get this squared up, and then we're gonna get some bolts. I believe that gets bolted on through here. I'll need to check. Okay, so for the next step, once we get that all rolled out, we're going to install the hardware. So you're gonna have a bag. You'll have 4 bolts, 4 metal washers, 4 rubber washers, and thumb turn nuts. So these are going to be installed in the actual bed cover. So they're going to slide through and then be placed into those slots. So if you can see, head of the bolt goes through the bed cover to get that aligned, and then it'll be placed in here. So we'll do that for both sides. And then we will place this and you'll probably have to move things around to get everything to fit properly. Or actually this one goes this way. Okay. Make sure I got the other side the right way. All right, so if you can see, those get put inside there. So then this will roll back, and then you can adjust everything. There we go. And this will lay down, so then you have your gasket here, or your rubber seal, so you'll want that out. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is going to get all of our washers and thumb turns, or thumb nuts, and get that installed. So as you can see, that just comes down there and goes through. Bed cover, so I'm just sitting here dropping shit. God damn. Alright, so you'll need to do the rubber washer first to cut down on noise, and then the metal washer, and then the thumb turn. And you might have to have someone on the outside pressing down because it's a little tight. So let me go out there, press down, and see if I can get some more slack out of these things. Actually, let me do the other side. Get that pushed down. Okay, well, that weather stripping there is not helping me out. See if I got something heavy to put up there. Maybe some metal stock. Hopefully it doesn't roll and bash into my cab though. Leave them a little loose right now to make sure everything is positioned properly. And then we'll tighten everything down once we know everything is in the correct position.
All right, so once we have that loosely installed, we're going to unroll the bed cover to make sure that it is squared up and that it doesn't bind on anything. It's got clearance everywhere. So we're gonna unroll. Feels pretty good. Next thing you're going to check is you're going to check the rubber weather stripping that is on the bed cover. It says in the instruction manual that it's supposed to be flush with the bed rail that was installed. So we'll get it as close as we can, but honestly, the more important thing that we're going to do is we're going to make sure that it is square at the locks. If it doesn't lock properly or close properly because of that, these things do tend to wear out a lot faster. I found that out myself. I wasn't careful when I installed one, and it only lasted for about 2 years. Plus, I'm pretty rough with these things because I do utilize the crap out of them. My F250, I've gone through 2 because I use it as a truck and I beat the crap out of it. So, but otherwise, they're really good. That's why I like these things. So, we're going to unroll. Check clearances. The next, also, you need to make sure that you have 1/8 of an inch at least between, let's see if I can get that, between the rolling edge of the bed cover and the bed rail. Hopefully y'all can see that. Let's see if I do that. So you're looking at this gap right here. So from here to here. So it just needs 1/8 of an inch, which that has and as you can tell, that one side's a little closer. So we can just kind of move that over, and that's all it took to get a little more room on that side, so we got a little more clearance. So looks like it clears pretty good. So let's unroll this thing, see what it does when we get to the locks, and see if it latches or if we need to continue on and adjust more stuff. So what you're looking for here is that this closes, and as you can see inside there, the white clip clicks on without anything interfering with it or binding up on anything. So that feels pretty good. So it's almost right on these bumpers here. I'm gonna check the instructions though to make sure that it needs to be sitting here or if it's actually needs to be flush there, but where it's sitting right now actually feels really good. Let me close this tailgate to see if it interferes as I drop my light. Actually, that looks pretty good. That might be where it sits. So let me get this finished up and get it squared up, and then we'll go ahead and move on to the next section. Okay, now that I have squared off the bed cover and make sure everything clears, I want to go over
what I said earlier. Actually, I revised what I said earlier after looking at the instruction manual. So on the front, basically what it says is that it wants the front leading edge of your bed cover to line up with the bed rail. And I'm assuming that is just to help for water runoff for this weather stripping that's up here. Now, I couldn't go all the way up because of how all the rest of this squared up in the rear. But if y'all want to see, let me show y'all how this is squared up. So if you can see, this is almost squared up on the bumper right there. So you do have some space in the front here, but everything clears, nothing binds. This is where your lock should sit, so you get clearance from the edge of the bed cover, but you got enough footprint on there to actually lock. On both sides, and again it clears. So that's basically what we're going to look at. So that is as good as I could get it. That was sealed up and not binding and locked properly. So now we can go ahead and tighten down these. And I'm using my pod here, so bear with me instead of my head stuff. Sometimes this isn't easy with one person. All right. Now, I think these have, these are nylon, so it's going to take a little bit of force. So let's get these tightened down, and then we'll move on to the next section. Okay, once we have the front tightened down, we're just going to check one more time to make sure that this lock disengages. It can roll up, roll back, and nothing is bound or interferes. So let's check this real quick. Actually opened pretty easy. Yeah, I would say that opens up. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, now this is opened already, is we're going to install the safety straps. So that's what's going to connect into here. They're going to run along up and over into the bed cover, and it comes with another clamp like what we put on for the bed rails. So let's get those and install those. So as you can see, it's the same kind of clamp that we just used for the bed cover. Probably gonna put them right next to them, but let's see here. So these are completely adjustable. So those just, I don't know if you can see, so there's like a T, go in there and twist, and that's how it locks into place. So we can just loosen this stuff up. All right, I'll put this down for a minute. All right, let me get my light. Oh. So basically the same thing here. We're going to install this. Up here. Make sure nothing is bound up. Yep, that's nice and tight. You can see the teeth are nice and grabbed up inside there. So that's it for that. So we will do the passenger side next. Okay, so once we have the strap bolted up and in, we can go ahead and put them into the locking mechanism, and then go ahead and pull this so that's tight, and then that way that's adjusted every time, and you can just go in, put that down, and if you're going to put it all the way up, it's nice and torqued down or strapped down. So the next thing is some weather stripping bumpers. I think they go along here, so let's go check that out and see what we got. Okay, so yeah, it looks like the next thing are going to be these D-shaped bumpers, weather strippings, whatever you want to call them, and they are going to go on the cover. Okay, so it's going on the front cover, so just in case it rolls, it doesn't hit the back of the cab. So let's get those cleaned up. So actually, let me go grab some alcohol, get that cleaned up so surface can be prepped, and then we can install this. Okay, so for the last portion, once we get the tie downs installed, we're going to install these rubber bumpers. So basically it is to prevent this from rolling into the back glass. So basically all you want to do is pull this up without tearing stuff up and seeing where it would come into contact with the glass. So it looks like for me is going to be these two right here. So we'll put the weather stripping or the bumpers here, and that way if it does happen to roll forward, it won't completely shatter my glass and try to murder me. So let's get that cleaned up, and then we'll install these bumpers. All right, now I just kind of want to see where we want to put these. So that's going to go there. Probably should have brought over a wax pen so I could have marked this. It would have been a little bit easier, but sometimes I got to do stuff the hard way. All right, looks like that's gonna hit first. I might end up redoing that. That's probably gonna bother me because sometimes I'm a crazy person about that and that's not perfectly lined up. But anyways, so these, again, as you can see, prevents the top or the tonneau cover from rolling into the back of the glass. And then that is pretty much it. Everything rolls out. Mess here. So you got your straps, bed cover. Just make sure everything rolls out. Looky there. Everything clears, nice and tight, secure, kind of rolled out. I might use a heat gun on this because it's so cold outside to get this lay down a little better right now. But that's it. That is your tonneau cover installed. Not very hard. Just need a basic hand tools to bolt down those clamps. Other than that, you don't really need any tools at all, honestly. And that way everything is nice and secure. I think the weight rating on this, I think it's 300 pounds or 400 pounds, so it's not too bad. It can handle a little bit of weight sitting on there, but that's not really why I got it. I just wanted something that was relatively flat. If you can see, that profile is almost non-existent. So it's extremely flat. A lot of the other ones that I saw were raised up just a bit, and honestly that irritates me. I like this flush look, so that will do it for the bed cover. So now that we got the bed cover installed, now I can keep some stuff back there, get everything locked up so no one can see what's inside the truck. So now that we got this done, the next thing that we're gonna do is do some wheels and tires. I just got a notification that the wheels are on the way, so hopefully I'll have them mounted this week. Maybe I can get a video out on that, and maybe I can get to the track with those tires before Texas 2K. I'm not 100% sure if that's feasible or not. Just depends on timelines and everything that we've got coming down and what all we've got to do. But I'll get some more stuff out for y'all. And then we'll also have a bunch of Texas 2K content. I'm going to bring my laptop and Starlink with me to the track, and that way I can record and edit some short little videos of stuff that we are doing out throughout the day and testing and what it's like to be at Texas 2K. So that'll do it for this episode. If you would, please go ahead and subscribe. If you're not subscribed, please hit that like and notification bell, and then share this out to everybody. It would really help promote and grow this channel so we can keep putting out awesome content like this for y'all. So we will check you on the next one.